they don't realize a lot of the product that they already consume, at least in the U.S., pineapples, guavas, anything that's imported from outside the country, almost all that's irradiated.
Really?
Yeah.
How do they irradiate all the pineapples?
So in Hawaii, they have a big gamma radiator when they put them in these containers that goes into this one underwater processing facility. It's a pretty cool looking thing, but they use gamma radiation there in Hawaii. Other places use E-beam, electron beam.
Right.
And then, but all those places are like centralized. You have to ship your product to it.
At ICBC with another great, fascinating individual. Of course, we are in Europe. So if in Europe, you always come with the mad scientist genius of the extraction world from Europe.
George Stantchev was natural extraction.
Our co-host, and it's George. This is a good one for you because you are the scientist. You are the engineer. You understand cannabis at a level that I never will. I'm a very much a regulatory licensing, eagle in the sky kind of perspective on cannabis. But we are dealing with technology here. And Nathan, tell us a little bit about what you do.
Sure. I'm with Rad Source Technologies. We are a medical device medical device manufacturer. And our primary industry is hospitals, cancer research, things like that. But about 8 years ago, we started getting inundated with phone calls and emails asking if we could sanitize people's flowers so they could pass state testing. And with my background, I came from contract sterilization of medical devices. I knew we could do it. We just never developed any devices. So we developed some devices, and now we are the gold standard in the industry.
That's fantastic. So sanitize flour so they can pass state testing. What are we sanitizing for?
So yeast, mold, bacteria, salmonella, E. coli, anything that could be grown, any type of microbial that could be growing on your flower in a greenhouse or outdoors, doesn't really matter. Any type of microbial. And what's great about our process is not only can we inactivate it, but we can inactivate it in the flower form, in the concentrate. We can inactivate it pretty much however. One of the most popular is to do it in the pre-roll form. So not only is it sanitizing the flower, but it's also sanitizing the paper, the pre-rolls.
So it seems to me that you need a very big machine for some of these operations.
Yeah, I mean,
how does that work?
We have so for some really big operations, and we've had some people that have got 10 of our biggest units sitting side by side operating all day long. And we have smaller facilities that only put the stuff that doesn't pass through it. And other facilities, they put everything everything that they harvest through it. So some of the facilities don't have multiple units. That is a good observation.
So there's some facility out there with 10 units.
Correct.
Is that in Oklahoma? I'm just kidding. I guess
Canada.
It's in Canada. Okay, that makes sense. So your units are worldwide.
Correct.
What are you finding in the European market? You're out here at ICBC.
Correct. Yeah. So so our other devices, like I said, for cancer research, vaccine production, things like that, we have those all over the world already. This is a fairly new expansion into Europe. So we've been here for a couple of years, but the market's been slow to adopt it just because Germany just approved the law to allow it. So a lot of people have been eyeing that market to be able to put product into it. So I suspect this next year will be a good year for our expansion into Europe.
What do you think of ICBC and Cannabis as a source, as a place to look and find out information?
I think it's great. You're able to gauge people's opinions, help educate people, because a lot of people just don't understand. When you say the word X-ray around a lot of people, they're comfortable. When you say the word radiation, that people panic a little bit. They start thinking the Incredible Hulk, things like that, and they don't realize a lot of the product that they already consume. At least in the U.S., pineapples, guavas, anything that's imported from outside the country, almost all that's irradiated.
Really?
Yeah.
How do they irradiate all the pineapples?
So in Hawaii, they have a big gamma radiator when they put them in these containers that goes into this one underwater processing facility. It's a pretty cool looking thing, but they use gamma radiation there in Hawaii. Other places use E-beam, electron beam.
Right.
But all those places are like centralized. You have to ship your product to it. Ours is unique because it brings it on site, so you can do your own product whenever you want. for specific products that you need, and you're able to really dial in the target dose that you want to deliver.
So we have a. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
You said X-ray. I heard that there are really two ways to irradiate product, like using ozone and using X-ray. What is special in your technology? Why do you choose that method, and what your customers need to know is better?
So ozone is not radiation. Ozone is a chemical, and it will work, but it's only surface treatment, right? So, it also strips the smells out of things. So, like, they use it to pull the smells out of curtains in hotel rooms, like smoke, things like that. But it will inactivate surface microbials, but it won't penetrate. So if you have a bud that has, like, botrytis or something on the inside of it, it won't touch it. Whereas with X-ray, you can put it into a bag. And by the way, that has to be exposed. They put them on trays. With X-ray, you can keep it in the bag. You put it into our unit, you process it, and as long as you don't open the bag, you don't have any more microbials in there. So that's why it works really good for testing purposes. And then if you want to just, do it on the final product for liability issues because you don't want any of your patients to get sick, it works great for that as well.
This is so important for medical grade cannabis.
Yes.
I mean, if you want your cannabis to be genuinely medicine,
correct.
In the end, you got to be using machines like this.
That is correct.
That's fantastic.
And I will tell you, my wife was diagnosed with stage 3B colon cancer. And when I went to go get some product for my wife, I panicked because I know a lot of places cheat the system. And I didn't, she had a compromised immune system, and I didn't want to bring anything to her that could potentially be, compromised. And so I went to one of our customers that had one of our units.
I'm not a big fan of regulations, testing, or any of that stuff, but I do understand the importance of this. Especially, I always talk about the grandmothers and stuff that should be able to grow their own weed and sell it.
Sure.
I like that market approach. I like the free market approach. I like the small farmers. Sure. But what happens is you got a lot of bad actors out there.
Sure.
And then you get people start scaling up, and then they try to figure out ways to cut corners.
Right.
It's not grandma in the mountains growing a few plants. It's that guy who's trying to grow 100 plants, who doesn't want to follow any rules, use some pesticides, other crap.
Correct.
So that you guys can make sure that all that stuff comes out okay. Well, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
It's been great meeting you. What else do people know about Rad Source?
Well, real quick, you mentioned pesticides. We have a number of customers that I've specifically heard them say that they love our product because it keeps them from having to use pesticides. And that's one of the things they use to promote it. One customer in particular out of California, I've heard him say it repeatedly when he talks to people. He said, I used to have to use different things. I'm not sure what it was, but he said, I don't have to use any of that stuff anymore because of your process. So it definitely eliminates all that stuff, because at the end of the day, you want to make money, right? And anybody can take product and extract it and turn it into, concentrates, things like that, but not anybody can sell flower. That's where people make the most money, right? So this allows people who have product that looks good, smells good, everything's great about it, but just may not pass microbial testing to pass 99.9% of the time.
Not anybody. There's the PURE5s of the world. They're a little special. He's an extractor, so I'm just kidding. No, I mean, I don't, when it gets to the science level, what you guys do, it's over my head, but I hope to share enough information out there so people who are in this, looking for this particular aspect of the industry, know who to reach out to. And certainly your level of expertise, you got me. If I was needing, I'm buying.
Right.
So,
right.
But anyways, but it's been a pleasure meeting you. And will you be at Cannabis tomorrow?
I am not. I have to return back to the U.S. Actually, I have to return to Phoenix. That's where I actually out of. But
did you know he's out of Phoenix?
Yeah. So I've seen a couple of our people have gone to your shows or your meetups. Yeah. But it's certainly something we need to be more actively involved in.
Well, the cultivation market's a little limited in Arizona, but our reach gets outside of Arizona, especially with MITA Unshackled. So definitely it's great that you're on our podcast.
Well, that's what when I was standing there and I saw one of the young ladies walk up with MITA, I'm like, I know who you guys are. I've seen you at home. So it's great to see you guys here. Yeah,
unfortunately, there's a limited licensing in Arizona, kind of keeps the market structure small. Right. And I see, one cultivation coming on a month, maybe, I don't know, and then one closing.
Right. Yeah.
So that's kind of Arizona.
Yeah.
So it's not that big of a market, but look, we look forward to seeing you in Phoenix. Our next meet is at the end of March. Please come by, swing by, just say hello.
Okay.
And we look forward to the success of your company. And now I know a lot more about Rad Source.
Yeah. Yep. Happy to be here.
Any last questions, George?
Well, while listening, I had a lot of things to ask, but I don't know if that's going to start another big conversation. Have you tried to do exposure on a live plant? Not only
that's a great question. We have not, but I can tell you that it would not work. Some of the people have talked about the virus. What's that virus called?
Especially for malt and yeast.
Yeah. So the problem is it breaks up DNA, right? So the photon, the X-ray, as it goes through the product, it breaks up the DNA. So whether it's alive or dead, if it's an alive plant, it's going to break up the DNA and interfere with the metabolic process. So it will kill the plant.
It will kill it.
Yes.
It won't morph it into super weed.
No.
I'm just asking.
No, it's a good question. No, it'll kill the plant just because it does the same thing to the microbials. It's the same mechanism. It's breaking up the DNA chains so they can't reproduce.
Okay.
So
Sounds like some weird X-Men shit or something.
yeah, no. People joke about that, but I said, look, if that would have been possible, the U.S. government would have been creating a super army doing that technology years ago. So
Yeah.
it's there's no. We know it's safe. It's been used for irradiation of foods and pharmaceuticals have been used since late 60s. So it's been around for a long time.
Awesome. Well, I want to see that big pineapple processing center, and I mean, we'll hang out in Phoenix and chat some more. But thank you for meeting our audience and MITA Unshackled.
Yeah.
Another wonderful individual you meet here at ICBC Cannabis. Great event, great time. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.